The ant and the sugar crystal. In a tiny corner of the vast, bustling forest, a single ant had discovered something remarkable. A crystal of sugar, gleaming like a treasure under the sun. To most it would be a sweet indulgence, a moment of joy. But to this ant it was an opportunity to secure a future of comfort, away from the struggles of the seasons ahead. The forest buzzed with life, the rustling of leaves in the breeze, the songs of birds far above, and the chatter of critters gathering for the winter. But all of that seemed distant to our little ant, who now found itself staring at the sugar crystal, a perfect, shimmering chunk of sweetness sitting just beyond the reach of others. It would be his. Day after day, the ant hauled it into his small underground home. Slowly, piece by piece, he moved it into the depths of his burrow, carefully, deliberately. He dreamed of the coming days, rainy and cold, when he would be able to feast all alone with no worries. But the skies began to shift. The winds grew stronger, the leaves trembling in anticipation of what was to come. The ant could feel it. A storm was coming. Yet in his mind there was no concern. He had his sugar, and that would see him through any storm, any challenge. The rain began as a soft patter, then quickly grew into a torrential downpour. The ant huddled in his burrow, his precious sugar still locked safely away. But as the storm raged, the ground around him began to soften, the earth becoming a thick, muddy mess. His tunnel, the one he'd spent so many days perfecting, was beginning to crumble. Suddenly, with a loud crack, the walls of his burrow gave way. The sugar crystal, once a symbol of triumph, now lay exposed in the flooding dirt. The water rushed in, sweeping the sweet treasure away, leaving the ant helpless. His perfect plan had crumbled in an instant, washed away by the very storm he had ignored. The ant scrambled desperately, trying to save the sugar, but it was gone, swept into the rain-soaked earth. The rain beat down harder, as if the forest itself was mocking him. For the first time, the ant felt the weight of his greed. The crystal, his beloved treasure, was nothing in the face of nature's power. He had spent so much time hoarding, so much time planning, that he had forgotten something essential. That life is not just about having more, but about the balance of what you give, what you cherish, and what you share. The rain began to ease, but the damage had been done. The ant, now cold and drenched, sat on the wet ground. All he had was a lesson. A bitter, yet powerful reminder that the things we cling to the most can be the very things that slip away when we need them most. And so, in the quiet aftermath of the storm, the ant understood. He had been so focused on securing the sugar that he had forgotten to consider the bigger picture. To live with purpose, not greed. As the storm passed and the sun began to peek through the clouds, the ant realized that perhaps in his loss he had gained something far more valuable than sugar: wisdom. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share and subscribe to help the channel grow.